Hello friends, in this video I will be talking about CELPIP listening and I'm going to cover how to make notes in CELPIP listening. And this video is going to focus on listening part 4, part 5 and part 6. For the part 1, 2 and 3 I have already made the video. You must have seen it, and if you have not seen, you can watch that video first, and then I think in connectivity to that you should watch this video. So in this video I'm going to talk about part 4, 5 and 6. Let's talk about part 4 first. So part 4 is the news item. You are going to listen to a news item which is really happening or surprising or entertaining. But the another thing that is important here is that you are going to hear monologue. Monologue means one person speaking. And whenever you are going to listen monologue, you find it really fast, because if one person is telling a story, there is no way that he or she is taking pauses. So they'll be speaking like anything fast. Okay, so you make yourself comfortable while listening if someone is speaking continuously, as it happens in part 4. And whether you should make notes or not, so yes, it is important to make notes in part 4. But at the same time, do not make lengthy notes. Lengthy notes would make it difficult for you to check it back later on. Okay, so once you are making notes, make sure you write who, means like whom this audio is about or whom this news item is about. Okay, then when the incident took place, why do you think it happened, so what happened, so you have to write like what happened and why. Okay, and then where, so all such things, why, when, where, so these kind of things would make it easy for you to understand what to write and what not to write. Okay, so always focus on these WH word: who, when, why, where and what. Another thing is that when you make notes, so you should be making it in points, in bullet point, like the way I've written. So always try to write in bullet points instead of writing full sentences, because if you are writing full sentences, you cannot write as the speed of that audio. If someone is speaking, let's say if I'm speaking something and I ask you to write exactly the same way, so it would be difficult for you to write whatever I'm speaking, because my speaking speed is faster rather than you are making notes. You might type quickly, but then you don't have this facility, you don't have this opportunity of making notes on the screen. You will be provided a paper and a pen, and you need to make notes with the help of this pen only. Okay, so always you cannot keep pace with the speed of that audio. Okay, so obviously just write down few things rather than writing the full sentences. Then always make notes of alternate sentences. So why alternate sentences? So that you can keep yourself focused and you do not miss any useful information. Now another thing that happens is, if you are only and only listening and you are making no notes in part 4, 5 and 6, so what happens, since you are listening at that time, it is easy for you to lose concentration. You are listening and somewhere your mind start roaming around here and there, and later on you realize that you have skipped that part, you missed listening that information. So just to keep yourself focused, keep writing something, but don't write so many things, just write a couple of words only from alternate sentences. That thing will help you focused in that listening, what is happening. Okay, so what is happening, where it happened, why it happened, so just a few information. And that too, again, if you are going to listen the name of a person, you should write the name, but don't get stuck with the spelling of the name. Why? Because nobody is going to check what spelling you have written. It is just for you, and in fact I would suggest not to write the full spellings. Just make your habit of writing initials. Initials means the first letter of the name. So in fact this first letter of the name, first name and last name, will help you to check it back later when you have it there in the question. Okay, so just practice it again and again so that you will understand how to make notes, and you actually develop this strategy by yourself. You become habitual of it. Now we'll talk about part 5. So part 5 seems to be a challenging for a beginner, because that is a video, and in this video you are going to watch 3 people who are talking to each other, they are discussing on a particular topic. There might be a problem that they are discussing, there might be an agenda that they are having to discuss, or they might be discussing something related to their office, related to their school or anything. Okay, so in fact that video part, this video part is for 2 to 3 minutes long. So since it is for 2 to 3 minutes long, sometimes it becomes difficult for you to recall what you heard. Another challenge that students generally face in part 5 is they can recall what was spoken, but now the challenge is who have spoken this information. They can only recall, okay, this was what exactly spoken in that video, I know, okay, but who has spoken this? Whether the person who is sitting in the left hand side of the scene, the person who is sitting in middle of that scene, or the person who is sitting in the right side of the scene. So who has exactly spoken this? It again becomes difficult and tricky, confusing at the time of exam. Okay, so what do you have to do it? So you need to draw two vertical lines. You have to draw two vertical lines on the paper. Like I have drawn one vertical line here to make two portions, left and right. So in same way, you have to draw two vertical lines to make 3 columns on your paper, left, middle and right. So the person who is sitting in the left hand side of the video, whatever he or she is speaking should be written in his or her respective column. The person who is sitting in the middle should be written down in the middle only, and then the person who is sitting in the right hand side of the video, whatever he or she is speaking should be written down in the right hand side. So now it becomes easy for you to segregate that information. So always draw two vertical lines so that you will be having 3 columns and write the information in the respective area. Practice shorthand for making notes. So when I say shorthand, not the long hand, shorthand means now what happens in part 5. So when you have the questions, they generally ask, what is true about old man? What did the man in blue spoke? What did the man in blue speak? Okay, so what did the young lady talking about? So now the thing is, the man in right, the man in blue, the young lady, the person sitting in the middle. So generally they will be having questions like this. So by the time you are not familiar with the appearance of the person, you have not written it down, it becomes challenging for you to recall, it becomes challenging for you to decide which will be the correct answer. So how we practice for this shorthand is, let's say this one, if you think the person like old lady, so instead of writing full like old lady, now writing this takes a lot of time. Instead you should write OL. So OL means now you know this is for old lady. Now old man, OM. If it is for young lady, it's like YL. Young man, you can write YM. If the person is wearing glasses, if someone in that video, so you can just write G instead of writing glasses or wearing glasses. So writing that much longer is not needed. If the person is in favor of something, the conversation or whatever the discussion is about, if you think the person is in favor, so don't write agree or favor. That is again longer things. So just write plus for agree or favor, minus like this for disagree or oppose. Okay, so these things will help you to note it down quickly. So as soon as the video starts playing, you can just look at the picture and the person like old lady, you can write OL, young man, YM, like this. So it becomes easy and quick. Writing in long hand will consume a lot of time and you might miss the beginning of that video. Another thing what happens is, sometimes before that video actually starts, so before the start of that video, they flash the name of the person, like she is Melissa, he is Alex and he is Andrew. So if you think the names of the people are highlighted, make sure you write the names of the people quickly. Again, do not write full name, and don't get troubled with the spellings of the name, like checking the spelling and then writing it slowly, because nobody is going to ask the spellings of the name of the people. So just write it in shorthand. If it is Melissa, just write M. Okay, so this M or ME will help you to recall. Okay, this column is for Melissa, this column is for Alex. Okay, so develop your habit of making notes in this way. So the same thing, sometimes names of the speakers are highlighted before the video starts, so write down their names quickly. Okay, so now these things are specifically important for part 5, because the biggest challenge students face is they remember that information, but they always mix that thing, who has spoken what. So who has spoken what? So at that time it becomes extremely important for you to make 3 columns, write in their respective columns. So writing in their respective columns will make it pretty easy for you to understand what was spoken. And always write the reason for any happening, for any topic or any discussion. So whatever the opinion is for anybody, make sure you must write the reason, because that reason is important, and obviously you'll be getting that information somewhere in the question. And another thing that will help you is the questions are generally given in the sequence area. So sequence area means if something is spoken earlier or in the beginning of that audio, so you'll be having these in the opening question, like question number 1st and 2nd. And if something is spoken in the end of that video, so that would generally be like in the question 7th and 8th. So you should follow the sequence. That will again help you to choose the right answer. Okay, now we'll come to part 6. Part 6 is listening for viewpoint, and this audio is for 3 minutes or more. Since this is the longest audio in this entire listening section, it becomes challenging to remember it or to recall it nicely. Why? Because it is again a monologue. Monologue means one person speaking for 3 minutes. Okay, and as it is says viewpoint. Viewpoint means they'll take a particular subject area. Let's say it is about purchasing a car or taking a car on rent. So purchasing a car and taking a car on rent, so the speaker would be giving examples, or the speaker would be talking about 3 or 4 people. So someone who is an advocate and who is giving his opinion about renting a car. So why it is important to rent a car rather than buying it. Okay, so the other person might be a businessman. What does he or she prefers? Okay, so in this way there would be the opinion of 2, 3 or 4 people would be discussed. But yes, that always happens is once the name of a person is taken, so first the opinion of that particular person would be explained, and then the paragraph is changed. Okay, and in another paragraph the name of another person would be there, then his opinion would be there. So switching of people again and again or frequently doesn't happen. So if it is about one person first, like person A, everything about him would be there. Person B, everything about her would be there. Person C, everything about him or her would be there. Okay, so different people are there, and a kind of dispute is happening. So whenever the dispute is happening, make sure you write for this favor or against in plus and minus. Don't write full words. Okay, so in this viewpoint, write names of the people as the names are taken. You make sure you write the names of the people. Why? Because in question again the name would be there, and you'll get confused who has spoken what. So name of the people, writing it quickly is very important, but again don't get confused with the spellings. Don't write the full name of the person. Writing only the initials will help you. Let's say if you want to write my name is Rachna Gupta, so don't write Rachna Gupta full, you can just write RG. So that thing will help you to correlate the information given in the question. Then what? So who this person and what this person is. I'm a CELPIP trainer, so you can write CELPIP trainer instead of writing again full, just shorthand, so that if the question is related to the name of the person or related to the person's introduction, you can easily catch it. Then next is his or her opinion, since it is about viewpoint. Viewpoint means obviously person's opinion is there in that audio. Listen that opinion, write it there quickly, plus minus, and then why. If I am in favor of renting a car, I must be giving a few things that why I am in favor of renting the car. So that particular points should be given. Why? Because I am not bothered about other like maintenance things and all. So that is taken care by the company. I just have to pay the monthly rental and that's it, I am free. Okay, so whatever the reason is, that reason should be written down quickly. Okay, and then again the most important thing, follow sequence while making notes, because generally the questions are there in the sequence only. So if you are making notes in sequence, that will help you to choose the answer. Let's say the question number 4th is there in the middle of your notes, it means 5 or 6 would be somewhere down there. So that thing will help you to eliminate the wrong options. Once you choose the options, you get confused. Why? Because more than one options are discussed in that audio, but actually one option is at the appropriate place and the other option might be discussed somewhere in the beginning of that audio, and since this is the question number 5 or 6, it cannot be there in the beginning of that audio. This thing will help you to choose the correct answer. Okay, so this is all about how to make notes and all, and along with making notes I have given you a few useful tips and tricks also, how to deal with your listening. I hope these things will help you. You can watch the video again, understand it nicely. If you still have a doubt, you can write it there in the comment section, so I can guide you how to fix your problem. Okay, so I hope you like this video, so don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends, and keep learning with me. All the best.